When we first created this assembly, this handle interfered with the outside diameter, or OD, of this screw head. So we changed the radius, this outside radius of the handle, to correct that. And when we did, we introduced a new problem. So I'm going to rotate around a bit. And the problem is that this hole no longer comes all the way through the handle as we would like it. And the reason it doesn't come through is because we had a poor design intent when we first created that. So in this video, I want to demonstrate how to find the problem and correct it, and hopefully develop a better design intent. To do that, first I'm going to select the handle, then I'm going to come over here and say I want to edit the part. I'm going to expand it here in the feature tree, and here's my hole. So I can see a couple of things when I select it. I can see the diameter set up, the length it goes for, and that it starts in this plane here that's 0.4 from the center over. So next, I'm going to click in white space, then I'll select the feature again, and I'm going to say edit the feature, and I want to have a look at the feature. Just going to scroll down, and the end condition I can see is through all. So again, the preview shows it starting in this plane and coming this way, and if I flip the direction, the preview shows it starting in this plane and going this way, but I can't get it to go through both directions from a Hole Wizard hole. So I'm going to close this, and I need to correct the plane that the feature starts from. So I'm going to expand this feature. This sketch is the position sketch. I'm going to right click on it, and I'm going to say edit the sketch plane, because I want to make sure I know what plane I'm dealing with. So it's my right offset plane. I'm going to close that, and that's this plane. Next, I'll select it, and then I'll say edit feature, and I want to look at how it was made. And I can see it's just a standard offset plane that's offset this 0.4. Well, here's my poor design intent. This plane should have been created so no matter what this feature size is, it always stays out here and just touches the part or slightly past it. So I'll close this window, and to correct the problem, I'm going to create a global variable and use it. Next, I'm going to double click on the handle to bring up its dimensions. Then I'm going to double click on this dimension, which is an equation, and I want to give it a new name. And the only reason I want to give it a new name is I want to make it easier to find later. So I'm going to click up here. I'm going to call it HDIA for hole diameter, and I'll say OK to accept that. So now that I've renamed this, I'm going to come over to the drop down menus. I'm going to select Tools, then I'm going to scroll down to Equations, and the equation window will open. I want to add a new global variable, and the reason I want to add a new global variable is I want to keep this simple. So here where it says in light gray letters add global variable, I'm going to click. Then I'm going to enter quotation marks, capital X, quotation marks. You'll notice how if it's red, it can't accept it. And when it goes blue, it's an acceptable variable. So it needs the quotation marks. Next, I'm going to look, and down here below equations, it shows my one equation that I have, that H diameter at sketch 1 equals this. And I would like X, the global variable, to equal whatever this equation equals. So I'm going to double click here, and that'll add it here. Again, we can see it's highlighted in blue with the quotation marks and the equal sign. I could have also just typed equals and whatever I want my equation to be here, and I'm going to push the enter key in the keyboard, and it'll show me what it evaluates to. So X is just a variable that's easier to remember than this here or this equation. Now that everything's functioning properly, I'm going to select OK, and I want to edit this sketch plane. So if I select it and say edit plane, and I come up here to its distance and I put equals, and I try and put quotation marks X, it won't accept it. I can push enter all I want. It has to be a value. So I'm going to cancel that. The way to fix this, I'll just click in white space once, is double click on it here in the feature tree to bring up its dimension. Then double click on the dimension, and I'm going to add the equal sign. And I'm going to put the quotations, capital X, quotations, and it shows it's good. I'm just going to back up. If I couldn't remember my equation, I could come down here and select the global variables or function or file properties or use the measure feature, but I do recall what it is. So I'm just going to put, again, the quotation marks, capital X, quotation marks. This green check mark says it's solvable, so I'm going to click on it to solve that equation. And then I get a picture of our planet here saying it's a global variable that evaluates to 0.49, and I'll say OK. We'll give it a minute. So now this sketch should start from here. You'll notice I have the rebuild symbol here, so I'm going to rebuild it. And now my hole goes all the way through the part. is shown here, and I've solved that problem. So I'm going to stop editing the part, and I'll save my work and continue from there.